My name is Benedicta Ogar. I am a hospitality manager and consultant. I had my university education in University of Lagos, and that was in modern European languages. I was a French major. And after that, I worked in telecommunications, where I was a sales consultant. But before that time, I remember I had visited my mom in Obudukatu Ranch, where she was then working in the food and beverage department. And I spent, I think, a month at the ranch. So being there during that time, I got to speak to a lot of the managers. I got to hang out with some of them. I went to the restaurant a lot of times, went to the front office. And I think there was just something about, the entire business that stuck with me even after I left. It was just something about the concept of hospitality that I really fell in love with, spending time at the Obudukatu Ranch. I think that was when it was still being managed by Proti Hotel. After that, I just knew that, okay, there was something here for me. The opportunity came for me to go for postgraduate studies. And I think naturally, I just chose hospitality. I was inspired to start the company first. After my education in Switzerland, I came back to Nigeria and I worked as a hotel manager. But I realized that there were so many people around me that needed my service, because even while I was a hotel manager, you had people coming to me and saying, oh, can you help with this? Can you help with that? We have this issue. Can you come in and assist us? And most times I couldn't really do that because, I had a commitment to the business I was managing at the time. And after doing that for a few years, I just decided, okay, let me set up something that can assist all these different businesses that need my service. And of course, hospitality is something I have a passion for. One of the unique features of the company would be specialization. I think so far we have decided to specialize on boutique properties. And what this has done is it just helps us understand the people that we work with and then the target market. And what this does is it helps us meet their specific needs. Another thing would be community involvement. With most of the projects that we've worked on, we do the best we can to, engage the services of the local community, source our products from them. If it's a restaurant, of course, you could have people around there that produce or manufacture something that we would need. And with that, we contribute to the community. We even hire staff from, around the location of the project. I think the services we offer would depend on the project or the business we're working with at the time, because we work with restaurants, hotels, lounges, clubs, lifestyle concept properties, shortlets, rentals. But I would say generally, we develop, business plans and strategies that can help the clients achieve their goals. We conduct market research and studies to identify business trends and opportunities in the industry for our clients. We provide guidance on operational issues, inventory, budgeting, cost control, procurement, sourcing, and other things. And we're also able to conduct feasibility studies and some sort of due diligence on investment and potential partnerships. We advise clients on marketing and branding strategies to help them attract, the client they want, and, also provide advisory on how they can retain these people that they've attracted. As a hospitality management and consulting company, I think the vision would be to get to a point where we're like a one-stop location for every investor or even existing businesses in the hospitality industry. We want you to be able to come in and then we take your project or your idea from concept to actualization. That's the big plan. And also we're strongly looking at investing in technology, as this can improve both our clients and, guest experience. We're also looking to emphasize on sustainability, as globally, that's what the world is looking at. We would strongly encourage clients to, do all they can to support the environment. I think over the years, we've worked with different clients in different capacities. First, I used to be a full-time on-site hotel manager. So there were properties that I managed, talk about Le Paris Hotel, Angle Villa, And later we went on to hospitality project. Let's say for Ileros, we handled, the staffing of both the front of house and the back of house, as well as some parts of the trainings. For Circa Non-Pareil, we did the same thing. We did staffing for Circa. Then with Angle Villa as a project, because first it was a project, then I went on to manage after we were done setting up. With Angle Villa, it was staffing, training, taking it from an idea to what it became. We provided support to the interior design company, standard operating procedures, we developed all of that. Even to naming the business. I remember when we sat down and we were talking about what to call the lounge that was outside, and it just came up and I said, the Barangula. So the bar at the Angle Villa. So when you get there now, I think you see the Barangula written on the wall. Let's move on to projects like Roma. For Roma, I was a consultant as well. Talked about naming the lounge, coming up, of course, working directly with one of the owners. We came up with the concept for the space, down to designing the staff uniform, hiring them, training them, working with the company that handles food production on what the menu is supposed to be like. We have to work with them on all of those things, because with some service providers, you find that they've done what they've always done, but they haven't done it within the hospitality space. So what we do in that case is to now guide them and, sort of help them take what they do and tailor it to suit the business that we are trying to, work with. I would say there's a strong project management side to what we do as a company. So we're usually the center guys, and then we bring on everybody that the project needs to achieve what the client, wants. And then sometimes we have to work with interior architects, we work with architects, we work with kitchen designers, we work with uniform designers, we work with printers, we work with branding companies, we work with PR companies, because I feel like we have the big picture. We have the client's brief. And so we have to work with all of these people to ensure that we deliver exactly what the client wants within the budget that has been provided. Of course, sometimes you go outside the budget, but we kind of guide how the project runs. How we ensure the company provides exceptional services. Now, also, that takes us back to what I said before. It depends on the kind of service we're providing. So first, as a company, we ensure that we partner with the right people. We want to work with credible companies, because even though these companies are providing the service to our clients or to the business, the client doesn't know those companies really. And so whose head is on the table is the company. So we have to ensure that we partner with the right people, and then we also have the right people working for us as well. I am a very detailed person. It makes me a bit difficult for most people to work with. They'd be like, if Benny wants something this way, it has to be that way. I'm very detailed. I pay great attention to details. I'm very resourceful. And sometimes that helps me go above and beyond for my clients. So I won't say, okay, I'm working on this project, you need that, you don't have it, that's none of my business. No, I would ensure you have everything that you need to make the business a success. And for me, I am not very much about right now, even though, of course, right now is very important. I do not build or set up hospitality businesses with just today or right now in mind. I want to wake up in 5 years and in 10 years and walk to a property that I worked on, that maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Because I see around where we are, you have businesses, they come up, and after a few months or after a couple of years, they're no longer there. So what gives me great joy is knowing that there are properties that I set up 9 years ago, they're still thriving. So I do the best I can. I'm the manager that can roll up my sleeves. I remember there was a situation that we had at a hotel where I woke up one day, and because we fired one chef, the other chef decided to leave as well. And it's shocking because apart from the owners and the other members of staff, nobody knows till today that for 2 days, I was the person in the kitchen. And I think what has helped with that is how I was trained. So it was more practical than theory. There had days where I was a housekeeper. There were days where I was a chef. There were days where I was a cook. There were days where I was a server. And, just being trained in a palace hotel. So you know what it takes to get the job done. So I remember another day while I was the CEO of Metro. Metro is a short-let apartment in Victoria Island. I got to work one evening, and of course we were not expecting any guests to check in because we didn't have those bookings. And at the time we had not finalized the housekeeping contract properly. So the housekeepers were closing, I think, 6:30. And then I got there at 7 or 8 p.m. Somebody wanted to check in. And I realized there was no housekeeper on the site. And the concierge was looking at me, ma, what do we do? What do we do? And it was very funny because all I did that day that I remember was I took my jacket off and dumped it on my table. And I told him, follow me upstairs. And I think he was looking at me like, what's she trying to do? We got upstairs. Before he could say Jack, I had laid the beds, I had done everything. And I just told him, mop the kitchen, put this in place. And all I told the guests before going upstairs was, can you please give us 1 hour to get this place ready? And he said yes. And that's because I am that man. I know how to do the things that I tell my staff to do. And I think even for the staff, sometimes it greatly affects how they look at you and how they respond to the things that you ask them to do. So I'm not telling you to do something I do not know how to do. And I am not the person that just stands there and says, do this and do that. No, I can show you and I can work with you to achieve what I want to achieve because I know how I like to get my things done. So I think being that kind of person and handling things not just as a service provider, but I almost feel like there's a part of me that is in the business. Or most times I take the place of the owner. That has really, set me apart as a person, because my clients will say that to anybody. Benedicta would roll up her sleeve and get your job done if she has to. So yeah, that's something I'm very proud of.